This year marks the 100th Turkey Bowl, the annual Thanksgiving Day game between Calvert College High School and Loyola Blakefield. This enduring tradition has become something that's truly special, truly important to the players, coaches, students, alumni, and the larger communities that have come together every year for the past century.
We're up 14-0 in the half. They came back and tied it 14-14. And we're like, how did this get away from us? How did this possibly get away from us?
The snapper snapped the ball. The kicker went up to make the extra point, and Jake Nordhausen had ended up blocking it.
We drove down, and Marcelo kicked this 42-yard field goal as time ran out.
And then we all stormed the field, and the crowd went wild. And
all I remember, everybody from the Calvert Hall side just poured out of the stands and was just jumping on all the players.
Far and away the best Turkey Bowl memory.
We were up a touchdown, and I remember throwing a pass to Brad Cook, maybe 74, 75 yards, and he ran for a touchdown.
It was one of those games where nothing could go wrong.
We were very good friends most of the year, except when a game came close to Thanksgiving. It was always a challenge. You knew you had to be on top of your game when you played him.
When he was a senior, which was 1940, Calvert Hall won 6-2, and he scored the touchdown. And it was a pass, right? Pass reception?
You pass from Dick Walt.
See, your memory is good.
Well, I'm still here.
Remember the old cards, IBM cards?
Yeah.
With the little punch outs?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. He would collect 2 garbage bags of these. And then when the game was at Memorial Stadium, we'd sneak around to the Loyola side and go up in the upper deck where you weren't allowed and dump all that confetti onto our
I remember my first year, there was a guy who was just standing in the middle of my O-line drill the whole time, and he was like some guy, some Loyola alum who lived in Michigan, and he was just so excited for the game. But I was just kind of like, okay, I'm just making sure that you're supposed to be here. And he's like, oh, I wouldn't miss the turkey. I never missed the turkey bowl. I was like, wow.
Turkey Bowl, for me, senior year was awesome. It was our last game, so if I did something that I wasn't supposed to do, I got yelled at by Coach Shannon, but I kind of like smiled at him and said, hey, I'm going to eat turkey and I don't have to show up to practice on Monday. I'm done, right?
First recorded football game between Calvert Hall and Loyola was December 1st, 1899. According to the Baltimore Sun article that day, there was an intense rivalry between the two teams. 1920 would see the inaugural Turkey Bowl, and in the 100 years since, not much has changed. The rivalry is as intense as ever, and the legend of the Turkey Bowl continues to be written on Thanksgiving Day every year. Over the past century, Calvert Hall and Loyola have had some epic battles, with notable streaks along the way. Loyola leads the all-time series 49-42, with 8 games ending in a tie. But beyond the stats are the generations of young men who've played the game, then passed the torch to their sons and grandsons. It's more than a game, it's a tradition.
It is a thrill every year. It's really one of the highlights of Baltimore City. It's part of the tradition.
My Thanksgivings have not changed since 1993. You know, it's wake up in the morning, it's get yourself prepared for the game, you know, seeing Calvert Hall and all these feelings and emotions start bubbling up and going again, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
The game is about tradition. It's about the rituals of football. It's about families. It's about looking forward to something that's greater than yourself. It's given an added dimension to what Thanksgiving means to us as a family and as a school.
In my family, we had a big thing Christmas Eve, and that was you were supposed to be there, but that was relatively optional. Thanksgiving and Turkey Bowl Day was not optional. It was a mandatory Reed family event.
I grew up going to the games. You know, my dad and 3 uncles all played in it, and they all talked about it. You know, there's pictures of my dad in our house, like playing in it, and it's just such a great tradition. And to be able to play in it 4 years and win all 4 is definitely really special.
You know, my son went to Loyola, my brother went to Loyola, his son went to Loyola. You know, we have tradition, and so we've been going to the game. We go to the game for, I guess, 60 years, I don't even know.
I enrolled here as a freshman in 1978. I've been at every Turkey Bowl since 1978.
I missed one Turkey Bowl game since 1954 because I was stationed in Korea. I couldn't come back.
No matter what year you're in it, could have been 68, 48, 98, 88. The players are different, the coaches are different, venues might possibly be different, but it all really boils down to a commitment to your school and a want to do the best that you possibly can.
The history of the game over the past 100 years has built a strong foundation for the next 100. Turkey Bowl history has become family history. The weight of the tradition has built its own momentum. It's now the oldest Catholic prep school rivalry in the country. That rivalry is based not on mutual animosity, but on mutual respect. And there's no shortage of team pride and passion on either side.
Anytime these two football teams meet, it is a game of pride and emotion, and so it was again today.
That tradition in that game and the respect that both teams have for each other is unbeatable.
Some people look at the Loyola Calvert Hall football game as a clash of civilizations, if you want to call it that.
You know, you have all these big college rivalries and, you know, your Michigans and Ohio States and Florida, Florida State, UCLA, USC. Okay, they're colleges, life is good for them, you know. But in high school, to have a rivalry that's 100 years old, how many people can compare to that?
Overcome with emotion right now, Bobby. Trying to gain his composure here. An incredible last minute.
Both teams, I think, looked forward to that game. And we didn't have too many friends on the field.
One of Calvert Hall's players had been a Loyola student and transferred to Calvert Hall, and of course we were all anxious to get after him.
It's Calvert Hall. You know, that's what we are taught, you know, besides roll downs, roll and a nation prayer, we're also taught to beat the Hall, you know, from day one.
Over a 7-year span, we won 7 straight Turkey Bowls, so we never had a bad Thanksgiving dinner, which was great.
When I was playing, we never lost to Calvert Hall.
And one thing I can proudly say, I never lost to Loyola.
This wasn't only Calvert Hall against Loyola, it was number 1 against number 2. It was special, right?
Yeah, it's number 1 versus number 2, but even if it wasn't, it would still be, you know, the same game, the rivalry, Calvert Hall, Loyola.
The fact that it has gone 100 years, and hopefully another 100, is just a testament to how great both Loyola and Calvert Hall are, both as institutions and just in general school spirit. Because if these weren't such great places, such a tradition wouldn't have made it this far.
Hopefully the next 100 years the rivalry will still be as strong as it was then, going 100 years forward.
The legacy of it is one of those things where you want your son, you want your grandson, you want your great-grandson to be a part of it because of how it made you feel.
There's no better game to play in.
It means that I was a part of something much larger than myself. It means that I'm a part of a tradition that has been around for 100 years and hopefully will continue to be around for another 100 years.
Tradition never graduates, and that's whether you played in 1920 or whether you're playing in 2019. The goals are the same. We have 2 tremendous schools who've given back, who are raising up young men to be pillars of this community, and 2 school communities that are excited about the game itself. So whether you graduated in 1958, 1988, 1998, or 2018, that tradition never graduates.
32 yards for Povik, the hole, Wills to snap, high snap, he spots it, he kicks that.
I had a 71-yard run for a touchdown. I'll never forget it.
Coach Davis comes in the huddle, he says, if you stop them right here, I can pretty much guarantee we'll win this game.
It was 5 minutes to go in the game, and I was freezing to death. It was so cold. And
people started to leave, and everybody was giving up on us. You know, Coach Pacelli called that play.
And I ended up scoring a touchdown. Granted, we were down by like 35 points.
So I ended up getting it and scoring. My dad was going crazy.
I fell on a fumble in the end zone, so that scored a touchdown for me.
This year marks a major milestone in the storied history of the Turkey Bowl. Much has changed, and much has remained the same. Whatever the outcome this year, one thing is certain: the story is not over. The saga will continue. Calvert Hall and Loyola haven't settled the score yet. See you at the Turkey Bowl.